afternoon and teach tomorrow at Coach Bert's deal on purpose to profit. So today I just want to talk, and I guess y'all saw my video online yesterday. That was a rough-looking video, but we got it out anyway. So I appreciate y'all. You saw the video, Cody? All right, good. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I mean, you know, some days it is what it is, brother. I mean, it just happens the way it happens. So let's talk about purpose. And I know the rule of thumb is this, that, and I did a little study. It's on Chat GPT. You can find it. You walk into a room of any 100 people, and there is less than 10 people that know exactly what they were born to do and doing it. Less than 10 out of 100. So 90% of American society walk through life not knowing what and why they were born and created. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today, and you can ask questions. We're going to be live, and y'all can help me format this teaching I'm going to do tomorrow. But when I talk about purpose, and that's one of the things that I love to do, I like to talk to people about why they were here. One of the things that I do really, really well, one of my purposes in the earth is finding the value. And over 53 years tomorrow, what I've done in life over the last 30 years is, and this is why people bring real estate deals to me, because I know how to find what nobody else can see in there. It's just a skill set that I've accumulated over the years, and I do this with people. I do this with mostly real estate. It's part of my life. So I love to help people find their rhythm. I love to help James find his rhythm in life. Whatever he was born to do, I'm trying to narrow the margins down to see if he can get there. Does that make sense? Yes or no? All right, cool beans. So there is a pivotal scripture, and I think I shared this in the master class on Thursday night a week ago with you guys. There's a pivotal scripture that I use for this and that I've kind of based this on. Here's what it says. It's Proverbs 20, verse 5. Whoever's in the master class, I think you have it. The purposes of a person's heart. There it is. Look at there. She's getting good at that thing. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Now, I want you to notice something about this, okay? Everybody look up at me. Take this note, John, and look up at me at the same time if you can. But anyway, the purposes of a person's heart. Here's what it is now. Here's what it is. Everybody, every person that's breathing was born with something inside. There's a why inside of you that you were framed around before you came to the planet. This is my belief set. You believe it how you want to believe it. You don't have to believe the Bible. I don't care. My philosophy is this, Brian, that we sat down with God, the creator of all things, before I came here, and he gave me my script, and he said, Darrin, this is what you're going to do. These are your problems. These are your assets. These are your talents. Are you okay doing this? I believe I sat down and said, yeah, I'm cool with that. And he sent me to 2616 Horner Drive, right off Cumberland Road. That's where he sent me, to Robert and Elizabeth Collins. That's what I believe. But everybody has this thing inside of them. This is the why. Everybody say why. Is that me? Is that me? Am I moving too fast? Okay. Well, I'm pretty amped up because I had some special sauce before I worked out this morning, so I'm kind of jacked, and I'm going to sweat today. The purpose is the why by which you were framed. And this is very important because most of us, how many have seen my drawing of the wagon wheel? No? April's seen it. You've seen it. What? Everybody in Crestwood should have raised their hand. Why don't you see it? What's the problem in here? All right, everybody look at me. Are y'all breathing this morning? Y'all alive? Carter, you still at the beach? You are? Okay, well, come on back. Most of us, American society, we try to figure out, if I get the right what back in here, then I'll know who I am, right? And so we build bridges of external to internal things to try to figure out, this is a job, this is a relationship, Cody, this is yours right here, right? Whatever. And we assimilate outside things to inside patterns. Instead of, what I like to teach people is, James, well, if I can figure out who you are, then we can build as many spokes in this wheel as we need to build, right? It doesn't matter if I figure out exactly how you were framed, who you are, what you were born to do better than anybody else. What do we call that in Crest Fund, y'all? Okay, what do we call that? Specialization. Y'all being really special today. Expertise, what that thing that you do better than anybody else. That's who you are. It's called mastery. Money follows mastery. So if I can get James out from here this way, then these things take care of themselves. Now watch. Most of us try to pack stuff on, Brian. And we always assimilate. This is what I've coached for 30 years now. If I make enough money, then this will take care of itself. And I've never seen one person in the history of my life at 53 years old that made enough money and said, now I know exactly who I am. It's never happened that way. Everybody has to live from the inside out because purpose was born inside of you before you came here. Does that make sense? Say yes or no. Okay, so it's in there. Now here's the second part of this verse, Brian. Here, this is the cool part. It takes a person, y'all remember this the other masterclass we just did. It takes a person of understanding to draw that out. And the context is a picture frame, and it says John's born with something inside, but John doesn't know how to squeeze this out. And somebody's got to come help John to figure out what he's born to do. Is that making sense now? Okay, so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you figure this part out so you can build as many frames outside as you possibly can and want to build. Yes or no? So your purpose is framed inside of your soul, and it's up to somebody to help you to squeeze that thing out, Cody. You don't have the wherewithal. Write it down. Write it down. No one knows themselves by themselves. I've got to have help. I've got to have help. I've got to have an outside hand in order to know me. When God framed Adam, he put him in a garden. He said it's not good that he's all by himself, right? You can't know you with just you. This is what life is about. Life is about touching other people, right? Your purpose is unresolved without somebody to connect it to. Because every why inside of a person's heart is going to answer, write this down now, it's going to answer a problem in society. Your true purpose in life answers a problem for other people. Your true purpose will answer a problem for other people. This is how you make money with your purpose, Jimmy, is because who you are answers the how-to for somebody else. Does that make sense? Is that making sense? But the one who has insight draws it out, okay? So you got to clarify. We're going to do some tricks today. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can. There's no way I can get through all this. This is a 2-day training, but I'm going to do some tricks today to help you to dial this in. The crisis is that most people live without the clarity of knowing who they are and why they were framed. That's the crisis that we're facing. So I'm going to try to help you answer that today a little bit. I told you if there's only about 5 to 10% of the people that live their purpose consistently in the whole planet. Most of us are living in this right here. It's hot to me, John. Most of us are living in this right here, guys. Most of us get stuck in that what? Most of us get stuck in that. Most of us are trapped in, I got to do this every day because it pays the bills, it does this, it does that, etc., 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 and we get trapped in it. And it's a cycle that never ends until you get old. And then we get old and we die and we go, well, that didn't turn out the way I thought it would. Right or wrong? Right? So everybody that I know lives in the what? Here it is. Yeah, you can give me some air, John, or give me a paper towel or something too. I told y'all I had some special sauce this morning before I started working out. Yeah, it was really good, but it ain't good right now. It doesn't wear off fast enough. So in this, I want everybody to understand that you are who you are, and you were framed to do what no one else can do just the way you do it. Does that make sense? Right? So the question is, how do I get it? How do I get to that piece of, thank you. How do I get to that piece of me? Are y'all not hot? Thank you, Aunt. Thank you. You're the only man that's with me this morning. Mountain Dew. How do I get to this? How do I get to this piece right here? How do I get to this piece right here? Right? Instead of going from the outside in, how do I get to this piece? So let's do some tactical things this morning so that you can understand this a little better. What I've done over my life is the only thing I can tell you about this is practice. Is that how you spell that? Sorry about that. Y'all didn't know the difference. I could have just swung that in there. It wouldn't have made no difference. So here's how you get it, right? Here's how you get it. Number one, you got to have an outside hand if you really want to dial in your purpose. You got to have somebody that can help you to see things different than you see things. You got to have somebody that can give you oversight in the stuff that you are too deeply involved in, right? Y'all remember me telling you that you can't see the picture, right? When you're inside the frame, you can't see the picture. And it takes somebody outside of you to look at it from a different angle, a different perspective, to go, okay, this is what I see. So how I've done this over my life, I'm 53 years old, and I've figured out a couple things, right? I am a father, and I am a coach. Now, in my early career, I was trying to do 50 million things. So I would ask Jimmy, how do you build a business? I'd ask Anthony, how you build a business? I'd ask James, how you build a business? And I was trying to pull things from the outside into me to figure out how I would build what I felt like I was supposed to build. And it took a while, Brandon, until I figured out, hold on a second. Now, Cody may build his business the way he builds his business. That doesn't necessitate that that's the frame by which I should build. Does that make sense? Yes or no? So what I did, and it's probably been, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, I decided that I would figure some stuff out about me. And when I sat down, and I've got a whole thing that I can give you guys about how to find your soul's purpose. When I sat down to figure out who I really was, I made a decision in life that I will take advice on the how-tos, but I will never take advice on the who that I am. And I made a decision that everything I was going to be framed from the inside out, Cody. This is what I did. I did this it's probably been 15, 20 years ago. And I said, I dialed in on this is my framework. How did I know that, Ant? How did I know that I was a father and a coach? All I did was look back over my life. I looked back over my life. When was I the most alive? When did I feel like I was actually ringing the bell in life? What was I doing? Who was I with? How was that thing working in me and around me and all those things? That's all I've done. And then I started to frame it. Now, it didn't happen in a moment. It didn't happen in a day. It happened over a course of a few years. But then I reframed everything that I had, and I said, well, this is all I'm going to do for the rest of my days. And no matter how many outside spokes I actually have, it's all going to come from this. Now watch this, y'all. If somebody brings me a business idea, and it's a great business or whatever, but it doesn't utilize the uniqueness that Darrin is, 99 out of 100 times I'm going to turn it down. You understand what I said? Because I can only be the best at me. I can't be the best at James. I can't be the best at anyone else. I can only be the best in the world at being me. So everything that I do comes from the place of who I am. Did y'all understand what I said? Now, in order for me to figure that out, it took a little work. I had to go back through my journey, and I had to ask myself deep-seated questions. What makes me happy? Now listen to me, y'all. If you're going to build a life on purpose for who you are and from who you are, you can't get the check mark from people around you. Now, here's what I mean by that. James can't go to his wife and say, tell me who I am. He has to figure it out. And then he can reframe the package of his life afterwards. You understand what I said? And my life as a who was framed around the skill set that I had worked through all of my life. You got what I said then? So all I did was look back over my life, said, what am I really good at? And then what have I loved to do and gotten no money for it over my lifetime that I could do every day and love doing it, wake up early and go all out every single day. And I figured out that this is who I was, and then I just started building bridges on that. I just started building purpose around that. I started building external things outside of me. So I did this about 15 years ago, and everything that I did from that point shifted. I made a decision that if I build anything, if anybody comes in and works for me or with me on my squad, I'm going to be this. Do y'all understand what I'm saying to you? I'm going to be this right here. This is just who I am. I'm going to help you walk through life. And if you're going to be a part of my world, this is what you're going to get from me. And if that's not what you're looking for, that's perfectly fine. But this is just who I am. You understand me? You understand where I'm at on this right now, right? So what you've got to do is you got to figure out who you are and how you were framed. And it's not a mystery. We were at dinner. We were at dinner one night. Me and my girls. We were at Mikasitas over in Tallywood, and I don't know how many years ago this was. God, it's been a long time. I don't even know if Kai was driving yet, so it's been a little while back. And these three girls were chatting, and they were doing a teenage talk. You know how little girls are. They're just giggling and talking, and I'm eating chips and salsa. Long story made short, somebody said something about life or purpose or what life's meant to be or whatever they said. I can't remember what it was. And it triggered me, and I stopped, and I said, well, hey, girls, tell me what life is about then. And Kai was probably 15, so that put Kaylin at 12 and Ella at whatever that is, 7. Somewhere in the neck of the woods. So check this. Now watch. I need you guys to hear this, kind of how I framed all this around. I asked all three of my girls, what is life about? So the baby says, she's 6 or 7 at the time, and she says, life's about having fun. Well, if you're 6 to 7 years old, life should be about having fun. If a little ant gives you an answer about what life's about, it should be about having fun. Shouldn't have any dimensions on life at 6 or 7 years old. Should just be about having a good time. I agree. Boom, great answer. So then I asked Kaylin, what's life about? She said, I don't know, which is normal for Kaylin. She probably had a deep answer, but she just refused to answer because she didn't want to get it wrong. That's just my Kaylin. She's like, I'm not going to get it wrong. I don't know anything about what life's about. So then I asked Kai. She's 15 at the time, I believe. I said, Kai, what's life about? Now watch this. Here's what my daughter said. My daughter said, life is about finding your purpose. It's a great answer for a 15-year-old, right? Life's about finding your purpose. Now watch this. Life's about finding purpose. This is what she said, right? So she said about finding purpose. I said, that's a great answer. My next question, what do you think it was, Brandon? How do you do that? That was my next question. So tell me how you do that, babe. So then I said, tell me how. And you know what her answer was? That's the hard part. And most of us in this room and most of us online are stuck in finding it is the hard part. True or false? Everybody raise your hand if you think that's the hard part is finding it. You know there's something there. I got it. There's there. I know I was born for something special. I know that I was born for something special. I just don't know how to find it. True or false? Watch. Here's my response to Kai. I said, Kai, how bad of a father would I be to send you on a scavenger hunt with no clues? That's a horrible thing. So then I went on this thing, right? I went on this search, Cody. So I start searching. That doesn't make any sense. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. For a good God to send me to an earth and say, well, your whole life is meant to be purposeful. But I'm not going to tell you what that is. You got to go find that out, right? So I don't think that's the case. Now watch. Here's what I'm trying to get you to. That right there, this how gets everybody trapped. You know why it gets everybody trapped? Because we live in America, and America's a celebrity culture. And so we look at people on TV and we assume, what do they have? What do we assume they have? Everybody on TV, even me right now, 90% of y'all in the room think I have this special talent. 90% of the people online think I have a special talent. That's why I'm standing here. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true at all. I have a skill. I have a skill set. But you know how I got that skill set, Jimmy? Is that I took this talent that was latent in my belly and I just matched it with consistent work. That's all I've done. Here's why most of us get trapped in the how. We get trapped in the how because we're assuming it's an external thing. And when I find the treasure box, everything's going to be good for me. Am I right or wrong? Especially church folks. We talk to people about this quote-unquote destiny out there somewhere. And I want you to realize that nothing is outside of you. The treasure is inside. Your job is to dig it out and unlock it. How do you do it? Consistent work. Consistent work. Right? And there's a few tricks. There's a few tricks. It's 10:20. We got about 20 minutes left. I'm going to let y'all answer the question. There's a few tricks. There's a few tricks to this. What I love to do or like, depending on how passionate you are about it. What I like to do, what I love to do. Something that I hate and I want to solve. I'm giving you tricks on how to find your purpose now. Something that I hate and I'm trying to solve, right? Something I have a passion for. These are all clues. Now watch, Jimmy. Something that I am unique ability for. Watch, this is tied in, but I want that unique ability to be honored, is a good word, by external sounds. Does everybody know what that means? In other words, you know you have a unique gift when other people go, man, you're really good at this. Girl, you're really, really good at this, right? That's what I mean by that. So I've just learned over the years to look at life and see what I've done good. And then something I'm really, really good at. Now, here's a problem, Jimmy. Here's a problem. Here's a real big problem. If you're good at a lot of stuff, then you're going to get caught in the sauce, and you're never going to learn how to focus. You understand what I said? If you're good at a little stuff, and then if you hate a lot of stuff, unfortunately for you, if you hate a lot of stuff, you're never going to, you understand? So what do you need? I need somebody outside to take a look for me and help me get some insight in that. So that's how you do it. But if you'll take a look at your life, and I'll get Simone to send y'all the thing that I use for this, but if you'll take a look at your life and these things that I'm uniquely qualified for, and I have passion about, things that I hate in the world that I want to solve, something that I love, whatever the case may be, like Anthony does Boy Scouts with his son. You still doing this, Ant? He does Boy Scouts. Now, when I look at Ant, I've known Ant for, how long have I known you now? 10 years, right? I've known Anthony for 10 years. He says Boy Scouts to me, and I go, nah, that ain't Anthony right there. That's not Anthony right there. Now watch though, watch. There's something in there that ignites something in him that is a part of who he is. You understand what I just said? There's something in the Boy Scouts. Now, Anthony, to me, nah, bro, you shouldn't be a scout leader. You wild. Anthony is wild. Like, you wild. You shouldn't be leading scouts because you wild. But listen, he has a love for it. Like Brian with education, he has this love for it. And I go, are you an educator? And he goes, no, I'm not really an educator. Then there's something in there that is triggering something of who you are. That's the piece we got to get to. That's the piece that we have to get to. Does that make sense what I'm saying to you? Right? Anthony's not a scout director by any means, but there's something in there that's awakening something that's dormant inside of his belly that's connecting the dots for him. I could care less about real estate. I couldn't care less about it. I have zero love affair for real estate whatsoever, but I'm really, really good at this. I'm really good at it. And what I do like is the big checks that come from real estate, right? But what I've figured out, Jimmy, is that I can do, now, you got to stay with me, guys. You got to stay with me because now it's getting really good. I can do almost anything from who I am. Because as long as I'm Darrin, the world will respond to me. The problem is when I try to traipse over and become James, because I see what he's doing is making a lot of money. That's called the chase. Write it down. That's called the chase. And you cannot find your purpose in the chase. You got to find your purpose in the peace. It's never in the chase. Okay? Does that make sense, y'all? Did that land at all? Okay. So, and look, you're only going to be an expert. You're only going to be a specialist when you figure out. Now watch this. I don't want you to get twisted up. Hurry up and write, John. You're writing too slow. I don't want you to get twisted up in this. You can be a special person in a lot of things, James, as long as it comes from who you are. And you dial down, this is my unique talent, my unique gift set. This is who I am. If you'll live out of that unique place, then you can do 50 million things. The problem is when you try to do 50 million things to figure out who you are. Then you're lost in the sauce. Is that making sense where I'm at right now? Then you're lost in the sauce. You got to dial it down. Like, Cuddy, how long you been with me? 10 years? 10 years? She was 12 when she came. So, she's been with me 10 years. Now, she's learned a lot about me, but I've also watched her grow, and I've learned a lot about her over a 10-year course of time. And there's, I always pick on Claudia. There's things that there's no way in God's green earth that she's going to do for me. I had a girl. This is just sidebar. Sorry guys, this is so funny. You got to hear this. I had a girl that I needed to fire, and I never fire a person, especially a female, solo. I always have somebody in the room with me. And Claudia went to lunch this day for like 4 hours. I don't know where she must have went to Raleigh to lunch. And I'm sitting there starving, waiting on her because I'm going to fire this girl, and I'm waiting on Claudia to come in so she can sit in the office with me, right? And she never comes back, Jimmy. And I'm like, what the heck, bro? And it's unlike her, like 100% unlike her. So I got a little pissy. I got in the truck and left because I'm starving, right? So I called her on the phone. I said, where the heck are you at? And here's her, every time, same response. I'm on my way back. It didn't matter. I call her at the beach, and she's got a week off and say, where are you at? I'm on my way back right now. No, that's just, I'm on my way back. Like, it's always, I'm on my way back. Anyway, that's Ricardo. That's Ricardo's response. Ricardo's response is, I'm turning in right now. And it'll be 40 miles down the road. But anyway, sidebar. So watch. So I said, okay, well, I waited for you for an hour, and you never came back, and I needed to fire such and such. I forgot her name. I said, go ahead and fire her while I'm gone, and dead silence on the phone. And I'm bawling laughing right now, Jimmy. I am laughing because I know that she's having a legit panic attack right now driving down the road. Her heart is going boom, boom, boom. And I'm dying laughing. I just let it sit for like 30 seconds. And she said, and I said, I'm just kidding with you. You ain't got to fire the girl. But it was really, really funny. But look, this is the point. There's a piece of that I realized that, okay, she doesn't have the talent or the skill set for that. And it doesn't matter because she's extra nice, so it doesn't matter how much I coach Claudia. Now, you got to check it. If I coach her to try to be a quarterback, the whole team's going to lose. You understand what I said? If I try to make her a linebacker, now if I make Cody a linebacker, we got something. You understand what I'm saying? If I put Shay beside him and we got two linebackers and Shay's on the left and Cody's on the right, we're going to fail miserably. She weighs at least 98 pounds. 112, my bad. She done pushed over a buck. I think she got weights in her shoes for that weigh in, but neither here nor there. So the point I'm trying to make is you've got to be you. You've got skills. You've got talents. You've got uniqueness of purpose. You've got to figure out, how do I dial that down and stay in my sweet spot? Because money follows mastery. Real money follows mastery. It doesn't follow mediocrity. It only follows mastery. So you were designed with a specificity to solve a problem. I don't know where that's at. To solve a problem in your society that no one else can solve. That's it. That's what you were designed for, right? So you got to figure out how you use your skills or your talents to build a skill and to keep honing that down. I don't care how old you are. Like I promise you, I'm 53 years old in the morning. You will not get this tomorrow morning. You're not going to wake up and go, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. Here it is, right? It's a process. Finding purpose, Brian, is an aggregated process. It's putting this piece into this piece. I like to define purpose as this. You can write this down. I got some more stuff I want to give you before we jump out of there. Good God. Okay. Purpose is the overarching theme of life. Purpose is the overarching theme of life. That's a weird looking That's a weird looking arch, but I think purpose, it's a flow. It's a flow. It's a flow of who? It's a flow of who? So write that in. It's a flow of who? This is just who I am. This is just who I am. And if you want this, you can write this into destinies. I believe there's more than one. Destinies are the landmark events of life that you are meant to do and to have. Does that make sense or no? Does that make sense? So I think you got a lot of destinies. I think we all have a lot of destinies, but purpose is the overarching theme of life. It's the flow of who you are. It's the breath of life. It's the river of life. Does that make sense now? It's the river of life. So I want you to view this as a river. I'm not an artist. And then these are landfalls. These are the moments of life, right? And as purpose unfolds, Jimmy, as your purpose unfolds, you're going to find out more and more about you through these destiny landfalls. That makes sense? Like if I asked John in 2020, John, what are you born to do? And John was a pastor at the time. Guess what he's going to tell me? A little deeper than that. He's a little deeper than that. Tell me what you were born to do. When I first asked you this 4 or 5 years ago, what'd you tell me? This is your purpose. Tell me what it was. Transform people, something. I forgot what you said. Yeah. Well, he's mad about it now. But now watch. There are now this is very vital to finding your who. There are moments of life that build and move. It's still part of the aggregation of your soul's purpose. Did you catch what I said then? It's still part of the puzzle pieces. So we don't discount that. I was an electrician from the time I was 7, 8 years old until I was in my 20s. And when I was finishing that course, Brian, I was hating that lifestyle. I was hating that I had to do it, right? I was just angry and frustrated and agitated at it. But now I look back at 53 and I go, that was the best thing in the world for me. Because it taught me how to do certain things that I do today in a different context. So I would tell John, the context that you had is going to show back up sooner or later. It may not look the same, but everything you learned in that is going to aggregate for you into your tomorrow. You know what you get paid for today? Does anybody know what they get paid for? You only get paid for your past. You only get paid for your past. I pay you for what you know how to get accomplished, proven that you know how to get accomplished. That's what I pay you for. Make sense? Yes or no? Right? So if what you don't want to do is get trapped in the skills or the talents and assume that that's all there is, because they can grow and aggregate. Does that make sense? So I want to figure out for you, what is the who, the flow of your who, so that no matter what you put your hands to, it's going to be the same. That made sense? Whether I'm selling cars or whether I'm buying houses or you get what I'm saying? And then you begin to live out of who you are. Is that making sense? That's what I'm interested in, okay? Who's got any questions? Who's got questions for me this morning? Nobody? Well, that's a whole different level right there. Okay. All right, so let me give you this then. Hold on. I'm going to give you some stuff so you can take it with you. If I can find it anyway. Let me see where I'm at here in my notes. Okay. All right, let's write some questions down. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to give you this so you can take it with you. You can take it with you, and I want everybody in the room and everybody online to come back a week, 2 weeks, whatever, and have a barometer of this is who I am. All right? So write these questions down. I didn't give them to Simone, so they're not going on the screen. The first question, write it down. I am happiest when. I am happiest when. Now, here's the process, guys. I want you to go into a quiet place. Sometime this week, this weekend, whatever it takes, you're going to need about an hour. And I want you to stop thinking. And everybody got a magic pen? Does everybody have a magic pen? Right? You don't have a magic pen? Cardi will give you a magic pen before you leave, Anthony. You got a magic pen, Brandon? You don't have a magic pen? We got magic pens. Brian, you got a magic pen since you signed up? We got magic pens for everybody. They're magic. Whatever you write with it, it's going to come true. It's a magic pen. Whatever you write down comes true. It comes true, okay? So, I am happiest when. I want you to write with your magic pen. I am happiest when. Now, here's what you got to do. You got to go back, and you got to track. Here's when I was happiest. 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 Now, I was not I was happy. I was happiest when. And I want you to have at least 5 experiences that I was the happiest at this moment. I felt really, really happy. Don't bring in alcohol or substitutes, Anthony. It's just natural happiness, okay? It's just real. You got to be real with Ant. You got to be real with Ant. Number 2, I am most creative when. I am most creative when. I am most creative when. And I want you to be articulating. I want you to be able to articulate, things like when I'm free from worry, when I don't have the stress of these teenagers, right, Brian? Whatever that is. I am most creative when. Like I can tell you, I get to my beach house and John will start getting texts because it just starts to trigger me. It just starts to trigger me. And I'm up the next morning at 4 o'clock and it gets clear. It gets clear. I don't know why. I'm just creative when I'm there. You understand? That's what I want you to write, and wherever that is. So if you want to write, when I'm in this place, when I'm doing these things, when this person is with me, when I'm solo, etc., etc., etc. I am most creative when. Number 3, what my ideal life looks like. Now, this is the magic pen moment. I want you to write down as much as you want to write down what my ideal life looks like. I'll give you some examples here. I'm free from obligations, no money constraints. I'm moving consistently, achieving goals and dreams, etc., etc., etc. As deep as you want to go. This thing's going to help you. I promise you it's going to help you. Number 4. Y'all ready for number 4? What activities make me the most excited to wake up in the morning? What activities make me the most excited to wake up in the morning? Again, don't bring outside substances into this, Ant. Let's just be natural about this. What activities, and you go back as far as you want to go with this. You go back to first grade if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care how far back you go. The farther back you go, the better it's going to be for you. But I don't want you to go back and stop, April. You got to take it all the way till today. I want you to bring it in because there's going to be a theme in here if you do it right. Number 5, is that where we are? The things in my life I am the most passionate about. The things, plural, that I'm the most passionate about. And I don't care if you dial into 3 or 4 or 5 or 1, right? But you need more than 1 in this because I want you just to write, and I don't want you to overanalyze and overthink this. I just want you to write. Things in my life that I'm most passionate about. Tell me when you're ready. Number 6, when do I feel like I am living my purpose? When have I felt like I'm living my purpose? Now you got to get specific, and you got to be more soulish than analytical when you do this. You got to let the overthinking relax a little bit in order to get the right answers. Okay. Tell me when you're ready. That was 6, right? Yes. Number 7 is what talent, attributes do I regularly get complimented on? What talents or attributes do I regularly get complimented on? What do I get regularly complimented on? Please make it talents and attributes and actionable items, not your shoes and your jackets and stuff like that. Just leave that stuff out for now. That's not going to really help you to dial into who you are. Number 8, last one, what areas do I always excel in? What areas of life do I always excel in? And go back as far as you can go, please. Go back as far as you can go. And I want you to write as many as possible. As many as possible. I've got some more. You guys got time? You got time to write some more down? All right. Tell me when you're ready. This would be number, I don't know, John. This is the whole other step. I want you to write down the top 5 people on the planet that I most admire. You don't have to know them personally. Doesn't have to be a relationship that you have. Top 5 people on the planet that I most admire. And you need to do this. You need to take about 1 to 2 minutes to just write it out, okay? And the second piece of that, I want you to list the attributes of each of those people that you admire. You understand what I said with that? List the attributes that you most admire. Like if Drew writes about me, he's going to write about my clothes and how I dress. Yes, you are. Don't lie. But write the attributes. These are actionable items. Like if I'm looking at Tony Robbins, because he was one of mine, I look at Tony Robbins and I go, this guy's living dead on purpose. He's very creative. He's doing his deal when nobody else is around. He's in his own zone, right? After you do that, now check this out. Here it is. After you do the list of the people and the attributes, then I want you to go. Don't erase anything. Do not take out the common attributes. It's very important that you leave those in, okay? It's very important that you leave the common attributes from a Tony Robbins to a Michael Gerber in the list, because I want you to the last thing I want you to do is make a master list of those attributes that are in common in your lists. Okay? I want you to make a master list of all those attributes. Keep the duplicates, please. Keep the duplicates. Those are important. All right, here's the next step. Tell me when you're ready. Look at the ones that appear multiple times and that actually speak to you. And please don't overanalyze this. Look at the ones that are multiple times in your list of people and the attributes you like about them. Look at the ones that speak to you and that they're there multiple times. Then make a list combining the common words into some kind of sentence or manifesto or whatever you want to write, okay? So you're going to look at, you got 5 people. Here's what I like about them. Here's what I like that they're doing. And then you write their, what was the next one? The list of each attribute. Then you write a master list of all those attributes. And then you take that and create your own verbiage of this is me then. You understand what I'm saying with this or no? Like what I've done is I took 5 people. I did this 20 years ago. I took 5 people and I've just named them out. I took 60 seconds to do it. These are the people that I think, man, they're living a great life. And then I just said, well, this is the reasons I think they're living a great life. Each one. I did one independently. Like I didn't do Tony Robbins and Michael Gerber at the same time. I just did Tony Robbins. And then I took another minute and I did Michael Gerber. You see what I'm doing? And then when I got done with that, I just wrote a big list of everything that was there, matching, that spoke to me. And I looked at all these matching words and said, what is this actually saying to me? Because I found out that what I admire in somebody else is the mirror of what I like about me and what I'm supposed to be doing. You catch it? So I can see it in Tony Robbins that's a piece of my purpose. You got what I'm saying now? I can see it in him, and everything that I attribute to Tony Robbins as whatever I deem whatever, then I just pull that back. Okay, well that makes sense because that's what's burning in me. That's what's burning in me. Does that make sense now? And if you do that, you'll come up with a fragmented but a beginning part of this is why I was born. This is why I was born on the planet. My uniqueness is this. And if you'll take that uniqueness and make it a flow of who you are, and everything you do, make sure that unique ability is moving toward the touch points of everything you do. You got me? So a good salesperson has to be, what's the first thing a good salesperson has to be able to do? He's got to be able to connect. He or she's got to be able to connect. True or false, you got to be able to connect. If you don't connect, it's moot. You're not going to close. If you don't connect, you're not going to close. So every great salesperson, I can look at them over the years and I go, well, they know how to connect at a real level. They know how to connect at a real level. Every great speaker knows how to connect at a real level. So that's all you have to do, and it'll start to dial down. Okay? Does everybody get where I'm at with this? Is that making sense at all? The stuff that we went over. So I want you to realize, I want everybody online to realize the uniqueness of you has to be populated in everything that you do. If you want to make big money. If you want to make big money. I'm just telling you, I'm just being real. So it doesn't matter if you do a carpet cleaning business, you got to do it according to the flow of who you are. Now, you're not going to get that in the beginning. Sometimes you just got to work until you start to figure out, I'm not good at this over here, I'm good at this. Right? So, Kai's 22, I go, you just got to get in the flow. And we'll hammer it out as you go. Right? We'll bang out the edges as you go. Right? And then you got to try something new. You got to try something different, something I've never tried before, but I think I'd be good at or I think I would like. Right? James said he want to be up here teaching. So he's got to, the only way to do that, to figure out if you're good, is to get up and speak. When I first started preaching years ago, quick story, years ago, my dad was tough as nails. He was a tough old bird. He gave us no slack. In my line, James, he'd give us no room for error, right? When we first started preaching, I had this gig. They called me and said, you want me to come speak? And my dad sat me down. He said, son, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to let you get up there and speak. But if you ain't got it, you ain't going to do it again. That's how he did it. One shot, baby. You got one shot with my dad. One shot. If you don't have it, you ain't going to do it again. I'm going to sit you down. We ain't going to do this again. We ain't going to waste much time. That was my father. So I was already nervous before I started, and then he added that pressure to it, and it was like, bro, I got to hit, you got to come out swinging for the fences on this bad boy. But you do learn in the process, right? So if you'll do this exercise, just take some time. This is going to take you about 30, 40 minutes to get your mind quiet. First thing you got to do is get your mind quiet. So you can't have a bunch of kids running around screaming and hollering, right? You got to get into a place where there's nobody and you can quiet your soul. No distractions. You can quiet your soul and you can go, okay, let me figure this out. Let me just run through these. I think there was 16 things, 15, 16 things. Just run down them. And something will start to merge up. It'll start to bubble up inside of you, right? And then you can go, this is what I think I'm going to be good, I'm going to be the best at, okay? I want everybody in the room, I want everybody online, I want you to do this exercise this week before Sunday ends. I want you to do this. Take an hour and just walk this down, because whatever's in you, it needs to bubble up. And then if you bring it to me and you go, hey, man, I need some help with this, we can start to direct the purpose of your life into the right things. Because then you're going to look at, you're going to look at something. Yeah, right there it was. You're going to look at life and go, these are the things that I want to touch with my unique ability, with the purpose by which I was born on the planet. These are the things that I want to touch, right? These are the things that I think I can make a dent in. Things I hate, I can make a dent in. Whether it's Department of Education, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. You understand? I just want you in your row. I want you swimming in your lane, because that's where the sweet spot is at. That's where the bone marrow gets really, really sweet, when you find your stuff and you go, this is what I was made for. This is what I was. And listen, it's not that far off. It's not that, I promise you guys, it's not that far away from you right now. There are things that you do in your life today that trigger something in you. Whether it's the Boy Scouts, there's just something about that makes me go, and what I want to do is help you to dial that down. Well, there it is right there. That's the only spot that you like about the Boy Scouts. You take the other stuff. You do the other stuff. But your sweet spot is right here in this little circle, and this is why you do. So if we can get Anthony to figure out his sweet spot and why he does the boy, then he can get bigger. Then your sweet spot gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You understand me? You get what I'm saying? When I made the decision that I'm going to be a coach and a father, this is my life, this is what I'm going to do. If you're going to be in my world, this is what you're going to get from me, period. My sweet spot gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You got it? And the better I get at it, the more money runs to me to be me. And that's what you really want. That's what everybody wants. The only reason people come towards me is to go, well, I want to make more money. You want to make more money, get better at being you, because that's where the real money's at. So if we can dial you down to go, hey, April, you're great at property management. Let's figure out why. It's not just the blanket, because there's a bunch that she hates. There's a bunch that she hates, But there's some stuff that she is just, like Rocio. She's great at bookkeeping, but there's stuff that she hates about it. But when I give her a target and say, go find 35 cents, I think we're off right there. There's something in her that just wakes up and she goes, I guarantee I'll find that. Right? She'd be the best scavenger hunter in the planet right there, Rocio would. You take her on scavenger hunt, she's going to find every nook and cranny of every clue that's out there. You understand? So what you want to do as you grow is go, I'm not good at that, but I'm really good at this. Let me stay in this lane. You understand? But you've got to work to make the lane big enough. Does that make sense what I just said? You got to work really hard, because skill is when talent meets consistent work. Skill is when talent meets consistent work. And you only get paid for skill. Talent you came to the earth with. I don't have anything to do with that. Skill is when that talent meets consistent work effort. Okay, then you create a skill, and that's what the universe will pay you for, is your skill set. You got what I'm saying? Now, what you can't do tomorrow is wake up and go, I'm a real estate agent, but I don't like doing the paperwork, so I'm not going to do that. Well, that may be cool for a little bit, but you ain't going to close no deals either. So you got to make sure that you build that lane up. You build the lane up large enough that it can hold all of you. Does that make sense? That makes sense? That's how purpose unfolds. It's always unfolding, and it's always growing. It's the river of your life, so there's no end to it. The Latin word for purpose actually means to set before, set in front of. It means to set in front of. So, well, what about when I get here? No, it's still in front of you. And when you get okay with that, Jimmy, when you get okay with that I got a bunch of destiny moments in my life that I'm going to meet, and I'm going to work really hard when I get there to make this thing the best it could be. But then I know tomorrow morning we're going to celebrate the destiny moments, but tomorrow morning purpose is still out there in front of me somewhere. And I got to keep the wheels on the bus turning. Does that make sense? And when you get that, it settles your nerves a little bit, like you're not off track. That's the biggest part of this that I want you to get. Like you're not off track. You're not off course. It's just where you are. So be where you are, look back over your past and go, well, these are the things that I'm really excellent at. And let's dial that down to go, okay, if I do this for the rest of my life, I'm going to be the happiest guy on the planet. I'm going to be the happiest girl in the world. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay. All right, it's 10:53. Who's got comments, questions, or criticisms?
I'm curious, Darrin, you mentioned Tony Robbins. Who are some of the other folks that you admire just follow Facebook?
When I look back over it, it was Tony Robbins, Mark Sharona, who's a preacher friend of mine. I think Dr. Cottle, my spiritual pops, was on the list. Michael Gerber was on the list. And I think Sam Chan was a guy you would never know about. Sam Chan was on the list back when I did it. If I did it today, it would probably be really close, but I'd probably add a couple of people that I've met or that I've heard about and I know them now. But the attributes by which I deem this a good life is the same. Right, I'm looking at the same people going, that girl, that guy, they got it going on. Like they're dialed in. They're hitting. I'm not looking for those attributes. When I look to raise the bar in my life, those are the attributes that I lean towards because I know they're going to matter. There's a principle called acceleration by association. So when I got into the real estate space, I struggled for 2 years. I didn't do one transaction. And then I met one guy. And that guy said, here's the keys. Do 1, 2, 3. And in 90 days, I did 3 transactions. Took me 2 years before I got anything accomplished. And so there's a principle in life that's acceleration by association. When I connected with Coach in January this year, or November actually last year, but January this year, there's something that happens in me. And the grace, I'll get a little spiritual with you, but the grace on his life comes on to me when I connect my arms with him. You understand what I said? So when I met Chris back in the day, the grace on his life that he had already won the fight that I'm trying to fight. You understand? He had already learned how to flip houses. He's flipping 20 houses a month at the time. And then the grace on his life, if I'm smart to actually do what the man tells me to do, then that grace on him will rub off on me. And his grace will add to the grace of my life. You understand? So his skill will rub off into my talent, and then my talent can become a skill. That's what I've learned to do really, really well. So when I look to elevate my life, and I told John this last year, I said, man, I guarantee you there's a person that's going to come into our life in the next year that's going to elevate me, and it's going to elevate us at a whole nother level. And Michael Burt was that person. And you never know who it is or why. You never know who it is or why. And I said this in the master class. One of the guys asked me, said, how do you know who to connect your wagon to, who to connect your life to? And I always say it like this: whatever makes your baby jump inside, when that guy or that gal speaks, there's something in you that goes, that, I didn't even like the way he said it, but just registered to me. That's when you know. Let me hook to this. Because there's a connectivity in the soul, in the unseen world, that registers in the purpose in your belly with the purpose in my belly or his belly or her belly, and those two connect. So when I feel it, I lean into it. And that's how I've accelerated my life over the years. I always lean into that thing that connects to me, right? I do the same with books, though, Jimmy. I mean, everybody gives me books and goes, hey, this is a great book, this is a great book, this is a great book. That may be a great book, but if it doesn't register me today, I'll read a couple of chapters and I'll put it aside because it's just not alive. And then I have some books that are timeless that I've read 30 and 40 times. And every time I read it, it's a brand new book based on where I'm at. That's the Bible for me. That's why I love the Bible. Because every time I read it, depending on where I'm at, you only get to see out of your glass. You only get to see out of your own window. So if you get to see out of your window, depending on where you are today, if you're 2 feet tall, the world looks different than when you're 7 feet tall. Right? It's all in perspective. So what I've learned to do over my life, is to write a check to connect my life to whoever. That's how I've gotten successful, is I'll write a check to be in his or her world, right? And then I've always accelerated that way. And when I say accelerated, I mean like quantum leap acceleration. Like when I met Chris, I'm still doing electrical work, struggling. Our goal is to make $100,000 a year. Okay, I'm trying to break through 6 figures. I met Chris, and in 90 days, I sold 3 houses, made 30 grand. Like I knew Chris 6 months, made $100,000. That's an acceleration. That's a quantum leap. When you go, and my goal is 100 grand. 1 year, 12 months. If I just make $8,000 a year, man, a month, we'd be balling, right? And then to meet this guy, and in 30 to 90 days, we do everything we thought we could do in the past 2 years. That's an acceleration, right? And that's what I've learned to do over my life, is connect my checkbook, connect my credit card, connect my life to the person who has something that goes, okay, they can move me forward. That's all I've done. That's all I've done. So if I did my list again today, it would look similar. It may be a couple of different people, but the attributes of those people would probably still be the same because they register with who I am as a person. Does that make sense what I said? They register with the thing that's in here. And the sound that Tony Robbins still puts out registers with something inside of me. It just does, right? I can't afford to pay him $1 million a year to coach me, but if I could, I would, right? I would, because I guarantee if I paid Tony Robbins $1 million a year, if he would take me and I paid him $1 million a year, we'd make $100 million. There's no doubt in my head about that. There's no doubt in my head about that. So I believe in that principle tremendously. So, all right, anybody else got any questions, comments, contradictions? No? Go ahead. Oh, I appreciate that. When somebody buys me a birthday gift, it makes me feel old, April, just so you know, but that's okay. I appreciate it. Unless it's bourbon or something, maybe bourbon. We'll have to take that back if it's a bottle of bourbon. All right. Shut up, John. You older than me, bro. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Anything? No? Everybody solid? All right. It's 11 o'clock. Let's go get it, guys. I'll see y'all Monday.